Hello everyone, I believe we are live. It says we are live. We're having some connection issues a moment ago. I'm not sure, hopefully it won't delay the connection speed, but if we do, it happens. But anyways, we are live now on Facebook. At least I hope so, and I hope everyone's having a great day. Hail and welcome to Midgard Musings. My name is Jesse, and as always, I am your host. If you're a first-time watcher, I do this every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, definitely click the link in the description of the video below to take a look at the Facebook page and become a fan on the Facebook page. Give it a like. For those that are watching on YouTube, or excuse me, on Facebook now, there's a link in the title of the video. It's a Happy Father's Day, right? Today's Father's Day, so hail to all the fathers and father figures. And the link to that video is a discussion of Onsus, the rune Onsus, which is Odin's rune. Odin is the Allfather, so I thought it would be appropriate to just share that and have everybody check that out. So I'll leave a link for that in the description of the YouTube video for all of you folks that are watching on YouTube to check it out. And as we wait for some people to join us on the live stream here, I'm going to go ahead and, as is customary, light the candle, light the incense, pour the beer, and get into this week's reading of Hávamal, which is going to be stanzas 100 through 108. Got Donheim radio playing in the background, as always. And this week's incense that I'm burning, I believe, some of the labels got kind of rubbed off on the bag, but I believe this is an autumn spice. Smells like autumn to me, so we'll call it autumn spice. Get this incense going here. Alright, we are officially live. And I'd like to welcome everybody today to Midgard Musings. Happy Father's Day to the fathers and father figures out there. Thank you for all that you do in raising your children, even if they're necessarily not your own blood. Being that father figure in the child's life is very important, and thank you for that. Alright, so we're going to pour our beer today. Iron Stalk Toasted Porter. This is the tradition on here on this channel. This is my absolute favorite beer in the world, and pouring it into my beer stein that was a gift from the Ohio ambassador of the Othrerir community. I'm also a partner with them, and Topher was very generous to give me this very awesome Einstock glass, since he knows that I enjoy Einstock. So hail and skull to all of you. It's a very, very hot day here in Middle Tennessee where I live. Feels like Muspelheim out there. So this beer is going to just really, really hit the spot. Been looking forward to this. Alright everyone, hail and skull. Yep, nothing like it, guys, nothing like it at all. If you're a fan of darker beers, porters, stouts, things like that, check out Iron Stalk Toasted Porter. You probably find it in your local beer store. It's just an amazingly smooth, creamy flavor. So we're getting some views now on the live stream. Hope everybody's having a great day. We're just about ready to start reading the next 9 stanzas of Hávamal, stanzas 100 through 108. And yeah, we'll be talking about some things. It's really cool. We're going to be continuing on with Odin's love adventure, whatever you want to call it. And we're gonna be touching back on the event that was lightly touched on in this part of the Edda, where he goes to Billing's daughter and tries to court her and tries to be with her because she's something that he's just absolutely infatuated by. Doesn't turn out so well for him. We're about to read that now. I'm going to go back one stanza, or actually 2 stanzas, and start at stanza 98 just to kind of recap of what happened. So at this point, Odin's found Billing's daughter, who's everything to him, and he wants to get with her. But she tells him, Odin, you should come back in the evening, because if you want to woo me, it's improper for others to see such a scandal. So Odin turned back, thinking that he would win her, comes back at night, and here we are now at stanza 100. But when I came back that night, there was a good company of warriors awake and ready for me. With burning flames and torches held high, I was shown my miserable way out. So, and just so that everybody knows that's watching this now, I'm reading the Hávamal from the Dr. Jackson Crawford translation of the Poetic Edda. You can find this readily available online. It's very easy to read translation of the Eddas, and so if you're reading along, your translation may sound a little bit different if you don't have Dr. Jackson Crawford's translation of the Poetic Edda and Hávamal. But by all means, definitely read along. So stanza 100 and 101 are going to kind of tie into each other. So let me just read those two together, and we'll get the whole kind of picture going on here. Once again, it's but when I came back that night, there was a good company of warriors awake and ready for me. With burning flames and torches held high, I was shown my miserable way out. And when morning came and I returned, everyone in the hall was sleeping. And then I found a watchdog tied to the bed of that good woman. So Odin has been duped. He's been kind of shown just how tricky and how cunning a woman can be, and he's basically kind of been had here. Back in stanza 80, I think it's 84, Odin says, "No man should trust the words of a girl or anything a woman says. Women's hearts are molded on a wobbly wheel. Deception lurks in their words." Now we kind of understand why he would say that, because it was tricked. He was fooled, and he's probably not feeling too good about most women at this point. So he's going to go ahead and say just that, hey, this is the way women are. So next we'll go to stanza 102. It's kind of a long stanza. There's many a good woman, if you get to know her, who will change her mind about a man. I learned that when I tried to seduce a wise woman, that lady showed me every kind of shame, and I gained no wife for my trouble. So there you go, guys. Odin's warning us against the cunning and seductive ways of women, on how they can, especially wise women, how they can use our feelings or our emotions against us. Show us every kind of shame. It's probably happened to a lot of us. And then we end up with nothing to show for it, for our troubles, for everything that we go through. So it's probably a very common feeling that we can all relate to, what Odin's talking about here. The next stanza is stanza 103, and it's kind of out of place for this particular theme that we've got going on of this part of Hávamal. Because thus far we've been hearing about Odin's love adventure, trying to win Billing's daughter, and the result of that, of those efforts. Now here he kind of goes back a little bit to some of the themes of the earlier stanzas of Hávamal. And he says, if you want to be very wise, be happy at home and cheerful with a guest. Cultivate wisdom, a good memory, and eloquence, and speak kind words often. You'll be called a fool if you can't say much. That's the mark of the unwise. Now again, this stanza by itself, after reading the previous few stanzas here lately, seemed to kind of fall out of place for the theme. Odin's going back and telling us what it's good to be, what it takes to be very wise. Be happy at home, be cheerful with your guests, keep your wits about you, speak often, speak kind words to your guests. Otherwise, you'll be called a fool, and nobody ever wants that. So it almost, kind of leads us to wonder, why does he go back to talk about these things at this stage of the game, where it kind of seems to fall out of place. But reading on, you'll see now why he kind of reiterates all this stuff. Because in stanza 104, he says, I visited an old giant, and now I've returned. I didn't stay silent there. I spoke many words in support of my cause at Sutum's hall. You know, so this kind of we're going to be hearing about his time at Sutton's Hall with Gunnloth's daughter. This is where he obtains Othrerir, the Mead of Poetry, right? So it's, to me, this is kind of one of those pieces of advice that we've probably all heard before. Is, you know, there's no such thing as a dumb question. The only, you know, or the stupid question. The only stupid question is the one not asked. Don't be afraid to open your mouth, because when you speak and when words that you say, don't be afraid to, or don't hold back per se. If you're not going to necessarily gain wisdom or gain the knowledge of things if you're not asking. You know, so he went to Sutton's Hall and spoke a lot and gained a lot from it. Stanza 105 says, Gunnloth, his daughter, gave me a drink of his precious mead while I sat on a golden chair. I would later give her a bad repayment for her trusting mind, for her troubled mind. So this is a very typical behavior that is kind of like a trademark Odin, right? This is Odin's kind of trademark. He's very pragmatic, you know. He gets whatever it takes to get what he wants. He does it. Doesn't matter if anybody else is inconvenienced or put out in the interim. When he has something set that he needs to accomplish, he's going to accomplish it, and it really doesn't matter what anybody else around benefits from it or not. Stanza 106 is, giants' dwellings were over and under me. I used Rati's tusk to burrow out and gnaw away the rock. In this way, I got out with my head. So this is kind of just, you know, furthering the story of Odin spending time in Sutton's Hall and getting his mead, and, you know, this is in Jotunheim, land of the dwelling of the giants, the realm of the giants. Stanza 107 is, I made good use of the disguise I used. Few things were too difficult for the wise. Now Othrerir is rescued from the clutches of the giants. Now, I'll have to go back and read the poem about this a bit more. I believe the disguise that he's referring to is that of an eagle or a hawk or something like that, if I remember correctly. You guys, if you're watching and you want to, my memory right now of that particular poem in the Edda it escapes me right now. But I want to say that it was some sort of bird that he disguised himself as. So few things are too difficult for the wise. Othrerir, which is the Mead of Poetry, you know, is rescued from the clutches of the giants. So he went there to obtain something, set out to do it. Didn't matter if others were inconvenienced or put out for it. He got it. Alright, and then the final stanza of the day, it says, I doubt I could have escaped Jotunheim if I hadn't used Gunnloth, the good woman who rested in my arms. You know, guys, so keep in mind who this is. This is Odin, right? And he's very cunning and he's very wise, and sometimes the wisdom that Odin displays and sometimes the things that Odin does makes it appear as though he's just kind of an asshole. Excuse my language, but that is kind of the way he can come across sometimes. He has an agenda, and he says there that if it hadn't been for Gunnloth trusting him and for him obtaining the trust of Gunnloth while he was there to get the mead, he doubts that he would have even gotten out. So it's kind of like, you know what, whatever it takes to accomplish what you want to accomplish, it's almost, there's no holds barred, and it's, you know, anything goes. At least that's what I get from that final stanza of that particular moment. So that's pretty much all of the time we have today for the readings. That was the last, or the next 9 stanzas of Hávamal. We are getting close to the point, there's only 164, let me double check that, stanzas of the Hávamal. Yeah, 164 stanzas. Next week we start stanza 109. We're getting close to the end of the Hávamal readings, which it's kind of bittersweet, you know. Like, I mean, I enjoyed these weekly live discussions and getting to hear people's opinions about it. But we're getting close to the end. But that's okay, because don't worry, there's going to be a whole lot more awesome things coming on this channel and on this page. So just because we're getting done with Hávamal doesn't mean that there's not going to be a lot more stuff coming. So keep your eyes peeled on this page and on the channel. Again, the channel is in the description of the... hold on. Guys, I heard some thunder. I believe Thor is making his presence known, which is great. Anyways, like I was saying, kind of lost track of that. Thor threw that off on me. But anyways, guys, Hávamal, we're getting close to the end. Keep your eyes peeled. In the description of this video on YouTube, go down there in the description and check out where you can find Midgard Musings on Facebook. There's going to be a link for PayPal if you ever feel the desire or the inkling to want to support this channel monetarily. Any of the money that's donated to this channel will help raise to better this channel and get better products to give you better videos and things like that. There's also an email that you'll find in the description of the video to send emails to me if you're interested in rune castings or rune draws for you or a loved one. Just a very monetary fee will be attached for that. But again, it all goes towards building this channel and getting it better for all of you fine folks. So one other thing that I did want to mention before we close this video for today, aside from just thanking everybody again for joining me today, watching and learning with me, and wishing you all a great Father's Day for the fathers and father figures, is also to let everyone know that this weekend we've got Midsummer coming up. For a lot of heathens, we'll be, celebrating Midsummer, and I have something that I'm going to be doing on Friday night at my hall here with some friends and hopefully some attendees to, just to honor the gods and honor the ancestors. We're dedicating this year's bloat after feasting and everything. We're dedicating it to Balder. So let me know what you guys are doing for Midsummer down there in the comment section. I'd really be curious and interested in knowing what you have planned for Midsummer this year. And I am in Middle Tennessee, so there is definitely an open seat here at my hall. If you're in the area and you would like to come by and partake of the Midsummer festivities, all we ask is that you bring something to contribute to the hall, whether it's a small, something to eat, your drink, anything, just something small. It doesn't have to be a lot. And just please, the door is open and the hall is open for anybody that would like to come and attend and partake in the frith and the drink and the food and the bloat thereafter. So again, everyone, this has been a wonderful episode of Midgard Musings. I really appreciate everyone stopping by today. I do see some comments. Let me just check out the comment section in the Facebook Live video, and then we will go ahead and close this out. All right. We got a new follower here on Facebook from Tammy. Wanted to say hi, hail to the Allfather, full member of a local kindred, looking for something like this online. Tammy, welcome. Thank you for watching today. This is great to see that we've got a new follower here, so welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Okay, so Jordan is commenting about something. I'm going to go back and check this out. He says, not quite my friend, it's about making a friend out of enemies. Yeah, making a friend out of enemies. I think what he's referring to is the whole dealings of Odin with Gunnloth, with Surun's daughter, right? Gunnloth. Making friends out of enemies, making it work for your advantage. So that makes sense. Yeah, I would agree with that. Thank you so much for your insight there, Jordan. And Tammy, welcome again. So everybody, this has been our next episode has been a great one. I appreciate everybody tuning in and watching. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you're not a subscriber already. There's a bell notification on the YouTube channel. Just click on that bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see everyone here hopefully again next week, Sunday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time for the next episode of Midgard Musings. Hail to you all. Thanks for joining me today.